David, your last time here, you were uncertain about your back. You were still rehabbing here. What's the contrasting emotions of where you were then versus now?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'll start out by saying that was fun. I mean, it's, you rewind a couple months, and, obviously I was a spectator out here, and, wasn't able to participate and join in on all the fun. So being able to kind of come full circle and be able to enjoy it as a baseball player now, that meant a lot. There were times where, you go out there and you feel the energy and the electricity of this building, and you think of kind of the path, the road that, I've been on this year, and, you're grateful, and you try to soak it in as much as you can. So, yeah, I mean, I would say that it was cool. It was fun, and that's what I love to do, and that's about as sweet as, I thought it was going to be.
Next question, right here in front, to the right.
Daniel, can you go through the home run and what Kershaw had looked to you before that, the way he was?
Well, my first at bat, he chewed me up and spit me out. That's kind of what it looked like. I got a lot of sliders that I didn't see well, and he put me away fairly easily. The next at bat, I was able to get my foot down just a little earlier. Got a 2-0 heater in the middle of the plate and was fortunate to put a good swing on it. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Felt really fortunate to put a good move on that ball that he threw me.
And all the way in the back left.
Dave, you've had some fist pumps, I think, through your career, but that one might have been in the Hall of Fame when you went to, after that base hit, you got the emotion that you showed after that. I mean, what was that like when that happened?
Well, I mean, it was a tremendous game. I mean, if you love, a pitcher's duel, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. You got Jacob deGrom, who, came in maybe as a little bit of an unknown, going up against the great Clayton Kershaw, and he matched him pitch for pitch, put up zeros. His pitch count got a little high early in the game, and to be able to settle down and have a couple quick innings and throw 7 shutout, and get the win against Clayton Kershaw. I mean, that's, as an offense, you want to go out there and do something for him so he can scratch out that win. So, when Murph hit the homer, he put up a 0. We got the momentum back, and, to be able to tack on runs late in the game, I think that's the key to winning. When you got deGrom out there throwing the ball as well as he was, I mean, it's just you want to do everything you can to scratch out the win for him.
And right here in front again.
Daniel, a couple things. How exciting was it to see Tejada get that walk in the middle of that rally, and also David's first inning at bat when he had a 12-pitch at bat and fouled off a bunch of pitches and kind of set the tone?
Yeah, I'll start with David. He gets in there and works just Grandy put a really good move on that ball, but it was 0-0. So, you kind of think, man, is Clayton going to sneak out of this inning and, maybe only have to throw 8 to 10 pitches, and David works that at bat, and then he wins it. And I think, he got done with that. I think it really paid dividends, in that 7th inning when Clayton came back out. The at bat that Duda had to lead the inning off, great at bat, and then Ruby works the walk. Jake moves him over, and then Grandy goes left walk. So there were some really unbelievable at-bats before David got up there, and then he put a real good at-bat on him. 2-0, David actually, he put the move on the ball. He fouled it off the other way. I was really excited because he'd gotten 2 heaters in. I was really excited he took the swing on it because I think it gave him a chance to measure him. Takes another one, gets in a 3-1 count, gets his 8 swing off, and then he gets that 3-2 heater away and puts a really good pass on it up the middle. And you can't say enough about what Jake did today. He gave us the opportunity to extend the lead late because he was putting up so many zeros.
Okay, and to the left, and as you can see, Jacob deGrom is also here.
Jouncers.
Daniel, when you see your name fourth in the lineup against a nasty left-hander like Kershaw, what kind of confidence boost does that give you that your manager has faith in you to hit there against a guy like Kershaw?
This is messed up, Jake. Yeah, it's definitely, you look at the lineup and, it goes Curtis and, Curdy, David, Sess, and them in the 4-hole, and, felt, excited about that because of the great at-bats the guys in front of me have been putting on them. And then you look in the way Trav and Lucas have been swinging the bat behind me. It's a really nice spot to be in because usually there's been traffic going in front of me and protection behind me. So, come to the ballpark, see your name in the 4-hole. You just try to put a good AB on them. It's going to be a tough at-bat with Clayton, but, just try to put a good at-bat on them as much as you can.
Okay, and if the question's for Jacob, would one of you share your microphone, please? but
David.
Bill.
Actually, Daniel, I just had one more for you. When you were talking about facing Clayton, I mean, the guy's supposed to be pretty hard to hit, especially the left-hander. Did you watch the playoffs at all last year to see what Carpenter and Adams did as left-handers, and have any idea why this might happen in October when it doesn't the rest of the year?
No, I don't. He's so good. We faced him earlier in the year. I saw the at-bats. Actually, I watched some film, Clayton's last couple starts, and then I watched him in the playoffs last year. Matt Carpenter and Matt Adams swinging the bat really, really well last year too. When they had those good ABs off of him, and it's just one of those things that he makes. I think for him, he makes so few mistakes that when someone capitalizes on him, we're surprised because he's so good. And so I think that's why what Jake was able to do tonight was so special, because he not only matched him pitch for pitch, he was able to go deeper in the game.
And to the back right.
Jacob, I know pitchers always say you don't face the other pitcher, you're facing the other team. But the way the game is unfolding early, where it feels a little bit like maybe it's sudden death, first team that scores wins, do you get caught up at all as Kershaw's pitching great, I better not give up anything here tonight?
I wouldn't say I get caught up in it. I definitely know what he's doing. But, my game plan stays the same, and that's just try to go out there and put up zeros and keep us in a position to win. So I try not to get caught up in it too much.
Okay, and to the right here again.
David, when you get to 3-2 there, are you shortening it up at all, changing your approach at all, trying to stay in the middle? What's your thinking there?
Yeah, I was fortunate. I got a chance to see a couple of his fastballs early in the count that were balls, so I felt like timing-wise, I was on time. And then you get ahead in the count, and a guy that's got a great fastball, usually, that's just his go-to, especially with the bases loaded. So it was just kind of sitting on something hard. Was able to be on time and just try to put a good swing on it. When a guy's throwing that hard, you allow him to provide the power, and you just try to nice and easy, to make sure you just get to it and beat him to the spot. So, I watch film and he throws extremely hard. So the biggest thing is just try to be on time and hopefully find a hole. I was lucky to do that.
And right here in front right.
Jacob, you had said, I think, after the All-Star game, that was the most nervous you ever were, if I'm quoting you right. So where did this compare to that, and just overall, what did you think of your outing?
I think before the game, I was pretty nervous sitting in the locker room, but once I got out there warming up, I kind of settled down. I think it really went away after the first pitch I threw. We had a good game plan. We came up with one before, me, Dan, and Travis, and I tried to execute that to the best of my ability tonight.
And over to the right.
One for Jacob, one for David. Jake, the lefties tonight were 1 for 17, I think, against you, 12 of the 13 strikeouts. How did you do that tonight in particular?
I think just mixing it up on them. My changeup was good tonight, and I got a few strikeouts on that to the lefties, but I also was locating my fastball pretty good too. So I think just trying to keep them off balance and get ahead.
And for David, you've had a lot of signature moments since you've been back. The home run when you came back, home run in Cincinnati, the big hit in Washington, this one tonight. Has that more than made up for the time away?
I don't think you can make up for it, but I think, when I came back, I wanted to, do what I can to try to, I guess make up for some lost time, have some good times with the guys. So I've been fortunate where, I've been in a position to be up there in some big spots, with guys in front of me getting on with plenty of protection behind me. If you look at this lineup top to bottom, it's dangerous. And, when you got, guys like Grandy at the top of the lineup getting on base, you got, Murph swinging the bat as well as he has, Cess, all the way down to, Duda and Trav. And, you just got dangerous hitters all the way down the lineup. So it seems like, a lot of times you're getting up with runners in scoring position and pitchers are going to have to come to you because they don't want to face the guy behind you.
And in the back right.
David, I'm curious about your thought process in the on-deck circle as they're making the pitching change. As you realize they're going to make a pitching change and then they're bringing a guy in, you've already had some at-bats against Kershaw. You had some good at-bats against him. Now they're bringing in a guy you don't know quite as well. Are you pleased they're making a change? Are you thinking, is it all strategic or tactical at that point? What is that process?
Well, I think normally you'd be pleased because you get, Kershaw out of the game, but then you look up and you have a guy coming in throwing 100. So, then you're not too pleased. I think that, you just go, I got a good scouting report. Kadire ran over had faced him earlier this year, gave me a good scouting report. Kevin Long, Pat Rossler, I mean, they just came over and gave me kind of a quick scouting report, and I think, that was true going up there. And like I said earlier, it's, when you get ahead 2-0 with the bases loaded with a guy that, throws extremely hard, you can kind of try to get your timing, get your foot down, and get ready for that fastball. I was able to do that.
We have any last question for any of the three gentlemen? Right here in the front.
Jacob, I wonder, say this year from a year ago, do you find yourself a different pitcher, or just refining, or in some ways you approaching guys differently?
I would say it's a little different. I got a little more confidence out there, and there was a couple times tonight, 3-2, where I threw it a couple changeups, and I would say last year I probably wouldn't have done that. So I think just having a little more confidence out there.
If I could, I just have one question for David, somewhat along the same lines. Since your injury, do you find, and I know you're taking somewhat fewer at bats, before the game is, are you in any way a different kind of a batter in a situation like that than maybe would have been 5 years ago?
I don't know. I think that, you try to come up with a game plan. When you're on the on-deck circle, you try to come up with a game plan and stick to it. I mean, it sounds simple, but you try to keep it simple when you're a hitter. So I don't know if anything changes. But, I think that, this postseason compared to, 9 years ago, I think that I'm a little more methodical with the thought process and going up there with a probably better game plan, being, a little older, a little more experienced. So I think that's a little bit of a difference. Plus we got, this guy's a beast. He's a little modest. We won't admit it, but he's a beast.